Welcome. This is Artist on Art. I am your host, Nada Milkovich, for today, May 14th, 2014. Auspicious numbers. I want to welcome you and thank you for tuning in to the Great 88. I have such a special, near and dear to my heart show today on many different ways. I have the wonderful pleasure to be speaking with Chris McGilvray and Doug Farris in the first half, and then the second half I'm going to get to talk to Matt Steele and Eric Ressler. And we're going to be talking about an amazing event happening tomorrow at the Nickelodeon, and this is Locals. Is that right, Chris McGilvray?
Yeah, it is the Locals.
So Chris McGilvray has...
It's at 7 o'clock, by the way.
Right. We'll get you all those details. May 15th at 7 p.m.
I like details.
Tickets are available at the Santa Cruz Film Festival.org. Why? Because it's the Santa Cruz Film Festival that's putting this on. And, I love the Santa Cruz Film Festival so much, having been able to both just play with y'all so many different ways. And I want to congratulate Chris McGilvray for becoming the new president of the Santa Cruz Film Festival, and I am so glad.
Well, thank you so much, Nada. It's a pleasure to be here. It's super exciting to get to be the new president of the board there.
Oh, yeah. You're lucky for them. They're lucky for you. It's a love fest all over the place. And most importantly...
It is a love fest. It is a festival of love. and this is our love child. That's right. What the Locals is totally going to be for us.
And the Locals is one of a very big vision that you have for the Santa Cruz Film Festival and how you want to...
Yeah, totally. So I'm a working filmmaker, and I own a production company called Six Finger Films. And so I moved back to Santa Cruz from San Francisco about a year and a half ago. And when I came back here, one of my big missions was to, really kind of figure out what's going on in the local film scene here, try and network as much as I could. And through that process, I became involved in the Santa Cruz Film Festival. And I was also amazed at how many awesome local filmmakers I encountered. And everybody's doing completely different stories, different versions of storytelling. A lot of people are really thinking outside of the box as to how to use video and film to communicate. And so when I got the opportunity to become the president of the board, I really wanted to take that opportunity to kind of shed the light on these really talented local filmmakers that we have here. And that is the Locals.
And so just to let the audience know, as the Santa Cruz Film Festival, which is a yearly event, it used to be in May, so it would be coming up. It might have just already happened, actually, in years past. But last year we changed it, and it's in the fall, right?
Yeah, it got moved to November, and it will be November 13th to 16th this year. And that was another part of my mission, was to actually start putting on events year-round. I think that, Santa Cruz has such an awesome art scene. The community is really, really great at supporting local artists. And I really wanted to kind of bolster the film side of that as well. And so the Locals is actually going to be a quarterly event. We are going to be putting on for a year. And this is the very, very first one. Basically what we have is 6 local filmmakers who live here, they work here, they're part of our community, and they're all really, really talented people. And they basically are going to come down and screen pieces of their work and talk a little bit about what it means to be an independent filmmaker at this point.
And so that's going to be, again, tomorrow night, Thursday, May 15th at 7 p.m. at the Nickelodeon. Doors are open at 6:45, and the Nickelodeon is at 210 Lincoln Street in downtown Santa Cruz. And Chris, each of these artists will have 15 minutes to discuss their work and again, as you said, what it means to be a filmmaker today and here and in the gestalt that we have,
totally.
the technology, the understanding,
Sure.
the very postmodern kind of thing, whatever. But Chris,
wow, you went there. I love it. That's awesome, Nada. Thank you for going there.
Breaking the ice on that one.
Totally. If that doesn't make you want to come, I don't know what will. Because there it is, right there. She stole the words right out of my mouth.
Well, you know,
it's really about to come out of your mouth right
Oh,
yeah, it was, dude. I was totally going to go Pomo
there,
on everybody, but
yeah, no, that's what I wanted to ask you, Chris McGilvray.
Yes.
Let's talk about who's coming. But let's leave out Doug, because Doug Farris is going to be up next.
Right here.
And then
he's being very nice and letting me steal all of the airtime. I know.
All the air,
Doug.
all the oxygen out of the room here.
Yeah, I do that.
No. We have an open window, folks. Don't worry. And then we have Eric Ressler and Matt Steele will be coming in later. So let's start with, who's your first up? Kelsey Doyle?
Yeah, totally. So Kelsey Doyle is a graduate of the UCSC Film School. She graduated about 2 years ago, and she is a documentarian. She's also actually a member of the board of the Santa Cruz Film Festival. So I know Kelsey very, very well. We've worked together on a couple of projects, and I'm super excited to get to showcase her work. She has a very, very unique vision, and yeah, she's fantastic. So I'm really excited to have her. And then,
wait. So she has a production company called Hawks Peak Productions.
That is
in
correct.
case anybody wants to go. Of course, if you want to see any of this information, you could go to the Santa Cruz Film Festival.org. Also, I will hopefully get this video up and all the information up before tomorrow, because I am taking a video of the videographers. There you go.
Totally. Getting pretty meta in here.
Exactly.
Totally.
And so, did you want to go on from Kelsey on to?
Yeah, totally.
Francis
Battaglia. Sorry, Francis. I apologize. I'm sure I butchered that with my, somewhere between Italian and American interpretation of how you pronounce that name. Anyway, Francis has a company called
Green Rocket Digital.
Totally. Ooh,
Well, I have my office right by his, because we're in next space, and so Francis is another. At the top of the show, I was talking about how this is near and dear to my heart.
Sure.
Well, one of this is filmmaking, getting to talk about filmmaking, Santa Cruz Film Festival, and then Net Space, which is where I had the pleasure of meeting you, Chris, and meeting Francis, and being able, and Eric and Matt Steele. And so Francis is within another little ecosystem of the Santa Cruz filmmaking ecosystem at Next Space.
One of the things that I find really exciting about Francis's perspective on filmmaking is that he's really into sustainability. He's really into the organic movement. He's really into the green movement, hence the Green Rocket title. And so that's a very unique perspective from all the other filmmakers that we actually have. He's really looking to work with green companies, sustainable companies, and help tell their stories. And then, he also actually has a background making surf films and surf videography. So that usually plays pretty decently well in this town. So
we live in Santa Cruz and not be a surf.
It's totally true, man. It's everywhere, and it's just too beautiful here. So, yeah.
And then we've got Cheryl Isaacson.
Yeah. So Cheryl Isaacson is the owner and producer at Lincoln Street Studios. And what's exciting about them is they do this concept called branded film. Basically, they are an agency that leads with video. And so branded film is basically taking a corporate client and making a interesting and unique narrative in order to either sell their service or their product. It's very much, it's a lot closer to the more traditional short films or narrative films you would actually see than it is a commercial. So she has a very, very interesting, unique perspective on film as well. So I'm super excited to get to have her and her team. She's actually going to have about 4 members of her team will be there tomorrow, and they have fantastic content.
All right, Chris McGilvray, we're going to take a really quick little break and situate ourselves here in the studio. Sit back and relax, everybody, and we'll be back. This is going to be a little Cesaria Evora. Hey, and I'm back. Chris McGilvray here in the studio with Doug Farris and Eric Ressler and Mart Steele are here, and hopefully we've got our microphone situation happening. Okay, so Chris, we have talked about several of the filmmakers that are going to be showing tomorrow.
Yeah, and then we got Chris Lay, I believe, is the last one. Chris is really, really cool because he's the veteran. He's been doing this for I cannot answer how many years, but it's a good number. And one of the things I find really interesting about Chris is that he actually was trained by the BBC. He comes from England. He was trained in London. So again, I feel like I'm a broken record, but he has a very unique perspective on filmmaking. If you haven't, figured out anything about this event tomorrow, it's that everybody has a very unique perspective on filmmaking. But
and if nothing else, we could turn that phrase into a drinking game.
Yeah, we totally
Every
could.
time you say it, people at home.
It's Doug. It's like Doug. It's 12:20, dude. What are you talking about? It's way too early for those kind of shenanigans. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow night. Actually,
there we go.
At the Red afterwards. Dude, that'll be fun.
That's right, folks. It's tomorrow night. Doors open at 6:45 at the Nickelodeon, the locals. You wanted to mention something about Matthew Swinnerton, one of the big movers and shakers in this town?
Yeah, totally. So, when we came up with this idea down to the Santa Cruz Film Festival, we started to kind of poke around and take a look at, who's putting on events out there. And, obviously the first thing that we came to was Matthew Swinnerton with Event Santa Cruz. And so I approached him, and he was, super, super stoked in the idea because it really, falls right into his wheelhouse. So we actually have brought Matthew on board. He's the organizer and promoter of the event. And so it is this fun, cool branding between Event Santa Cruz and Santa Cruz Film Festival. So it has a little bit of a, local entrepreneurship and tech community angle as well. So it's a shout out to all of our friends down there at Next Space, as Nada loves to point out.
That's right.
We're going for the tech angle.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh yeah. Well, so much of the reason there is as many filmmakers here today is because of the technology and the democratization of the ability for anybody to make a movie and anybody edit it. I mean, it's gone to, right now you could buy a iMovie app for $5. You get your little smartphone, take the movie, edit it on your smartphone, and broadcast it, folks. It's never before. It's like a Polaroid camera, but really it's with movies, and you have the reach of the internet. It's outrageously cool, and it's a wonderful thing. That's what you'll be celebrating tomorrow, May 15th at the Nickelodeon. That's right, folks. Tomorrow at the Nickelodeon at 7 p.m. The locals, and you'll get to see 15 minutes of talks by.
Well, so it's content. It's most of it is actually content that we will be screening, and then there's about 2 or 3 minutes of intros from the actual filmmakers. All of the filmmakers will be in attendance, and so they'll intro their pieces, and then you actually get to watch most of the content that they've made. So it'll be cool stuff.
Excellent. And so, Chris, would you mind, since you've got Doug Farris sitting right next to you, did such a lovely little intro to everyone else that's going to be coming. Would you mind telling us a little bit about Doug?
Yeah, I can totally do that. I know it's a little embarrassing. It's right here.
Sitting right next to you.
I know.
That's what you say.
Yeah, totally. So, Doug Farris is the owner of Ghost Hand Productions. And he's actually been in Santa Cruz for a long time, working on a lot of corporate stuff. But Doug also has a very interesting perspective. He's a very visual guy. It's one of the things that I really like about Doug's work.
Visual for a filmmaker?
Visual, dude, for a filmmaker, he is visual. I mean, imagine the visuals that got to be coming out over here if he's considered visual for a filmmaker. Yeah, like when I interviewed everybody, I did like a little intro piece for the event tomorrow that everybody will get to see. Of course, I asked everybody, I was like, ooh, what's your favorite sense? Everybody said sight. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, I guess that's kind of obvious. We are filmmakers. It's a pretty visual medium. So, yeah. But,
so much for that question.
Yeah, totally. So much for that question. Really got a lot of diversity of answers on that one. I thought somebody would think outside of the box.
I should have messed with you and said like smell or something.
I know. That's what I usually say. Yeah. Smell has like nostalgia.
So Doug Farris is, again, the Ghost Hand Films and founder of Ghost Hand Productions. What are you going to be talking about tomorrow, Doug?
Well, we're going to show about 10 or 11 minutes, kind of a collage of a bunch of different work that we've done in the last year or so. and that kind of shows all the different aspects of what Ghost Hand does. So we're a little bit unique and diverse in the sense that we don't really do just one thing. So everything from actually producing videos on down to just straight up equipment rental, or providing crews for folks. So we've worked across everything from your corporate pieces to behind the scene documentary stuff for Hollywood films to sports and broadcast TV. So a pretty broad range of things. So what we'll be showing tomorrow will encapsulate kind of all that experience down into some of the pieces that we've actually done in the last year. So there was a Kickstarter video that we did for some friends that was very much kind of in the filmic vein. So after talking with Chris,
That's a super cool piece, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
No, it really is.
The idea for me with our 12 minutes was to really kind of try and highlight not your standard corporate piece or your broadcast piece, but something that was more encapsulated the film idea and kind of the heart and spirit of independent film, which is kind of
Sure.
what the purpose to me really of tomorrow is to kind of be able to show all the different ways that you can be an independent filmmaker in today. And so we've got a Kickstarter piece there. We've got a random little piece that we made when we were in India this last year, actually for a corporate video. But we took a little bit of our free time after doing interviews, and then we actually added a day, because I'm like, if I'm flying all the way to India, I might as well take a day to look around and not just spend 48 hours in the country.
That's a long way to go.
Yeah, it's a long way to go to not stop and smell the roses, as they say.
Totally.
So we ran around, and you can't go sightsee and not shoot it. It's just impossible. So it became a little mini doc that was New Delhi to Agra, and we just kind of filmed our journey knocking around New Delhi for part of a day, and then we took a day and went out and saw the Taj, and just kind of filmed it along the way and made a little 3-minute piece. So we threw that in there.
Doug, Farris, where would I be able to see this? Do you have it online?
Yeah, it's actually on our Vimeo page. So if you look up Ghost Hand Productions on Vimeo, you'll see it there.
And the production, Ghost Hand Productions, came out of post-production. That's where it began as? Yeah,
we, I think probably kind of like most entrepreneurs, you start a couple different things, and they kind of grow and morph. And so I started out my production career actually in college. And the first, actual pay piece that I did was a little promotional video for the Boys and Girls Club in Monterey. And since I was making a little bit of money, I couldn't edit it at the school. And so that got me out into the broader production world. And then from there, I just kind of worked my way up from, doing edit assistant stuff to production assistant to grip PA. I think kind of at this point I've been paid in almost every different role that there is, from a location scout on up, to producer director.
You done production design? You been like an art director?
Have not done art direction.
I knew it.
Got me.
Knew it.
Got me.
Totally got
me.
Totally. It's so busted.
I'm still gonna elbow you once we get done.
Sorry. So, whatever he says.
Most all. I won't say every. I'll say most all.
Yeah.
And so the company kind of really genesised out of that. So Ghost Hand came along as part of that, and concurrent with Ghost Hand for a while, I had a separate production company that was solely post-production. And when they ended up combining up and becoming what Ghost Hand is today, it kind of encompasses all those different aspects of the film process now.
So when Chris McGilvray calls you visual for a filmmaker, that's a really big thing, because we're all filmmakers, visual people. We're not text-based people, or we'd be writing books, right? Or screenplays. And so having started from post-production, do you use a lot of effects in creating this vision? First of all, that's one question, but that's really not the question. The question is, why does Chris call you visual for, what do you think he's talking about?
I think it comes from, as we've kind of had conversations about things, and you mentioned technology earlier. I mean, there's so many amazingly powerful tools at our fingertips that, even 5 years ago, weren't around, and the things that you can do now at the cost that you can do them now, it's just phenomenal. But the point isn't all the neat gadgets, because that doesn't give you a story, And so what I really enjoy is trying to find ways to tell a story that you can do it, without words. You think of something like Up, or you think of going back to more classic film like Citizen Kane, and you see ways that they'll be able to use visuals, they're able to use their editing to convey a story. Sometimes, in the space of just 30 seconds, and immediately you can encapsulate 10 years.
Well,
Totally.
You mentioned Up, and Up was a Pixar movie,
Yeah.
and they show the first. It's like 30 seconds. It's a 20, 40, 60, 80-year lifespan that they
and you
go
immediately
It's all
place that guy.
and music, and that's it.
And
From that point forward, you know exactly, that
Who that
character,
person
and you
is.
know why he is grumpy and why he's doing
Right.
everything. It was amazing. It was beautiful.
And it
And
had
at the
me
essence,
bawling.
it is the core of film. That's one of the things that Doug and I love to align on, is that, a lot of people forget about the fact that, really film just started as, the optical illusion of 24 still images coming at you every single second. So it's literally just a motion picture. That's why they call it that. And, one of the things that is so exciting about, seeing Up and that sequence is that it communicates so much of it just through the visual medium. And it's something that is specific only to the film art form. It wasn't going to work that way if you write it as a short story, or if you do it as a photograph, or if you do it as a painting. It only is communicated in that manner through film. And that's one of the things that I found really exciting. And a lot of Doug's work really does that, which I think is awesome.
You're listening to Artist on Art. I am your host, Nada Milkovich. That was Chris McGilvray talking to us, as well as Doug Farris. And we're here to talk about tomorrow's Thursday, May 15, an amazing event called The Locals, where you'll get to see 6 local filmmakers at the Nickelodeon. This is a marriage between Event Santa Cruz and the Santa Cruz Film Festival. And we're going to take a quick little break and sit back and relax, folks. Have fun. Tell us what... because of the way you can do things, the ease in which you can make filmmaking, you wanted to talk about that, Doug. What has that done to the filmmaking?
Well, I think what's really neat, and this is kind of a little bit of the shout out to any of the independent filmmakers that are listening to this back at home, is what's so cool about this time in history is, we not to use the word earlier, of the democratization of the filmmaking process. You have the ability now, even just in your cell phone, to shoot slow-mo 120 frames. There's all these tools and things that are available to you for pennies, compared to back in the day of having to sign up and hope you could get your hands on that 8mm or 16mm film camera and have to get it developed, and all the things that you used to have to do. There's just so much available to you in the immediacy. The fact that you can actually look at a production monitor and have an idea of what it is you're shooting.
You can preload your color settings and know exactly what it's going to look like.
It's so neat, and you can really kind of work on that adage of 10,000 hours to kind of really become a master of something. You can start partaking of that process and go out there and work on your storytelling, work on all these different things, and be able to edit it at home, and to be able to see a moment and shoot it with your phone, or go out and produce a moment with another camera. But you've got, for a couple $1,000s, broadcast quality cameras now, and it's just phenomenal. And so, just an encouragement for all you folks out there that you don't need the $1 million budgets,
The red camera.
It's an awesome thing.
It is. It's cool to have it, but it's not necessary.
But it's not about the tool. The thing is, what I'm trying to go with this is, it's not about the tools so much anymore. There used to be 2 big barriers. You had the tools. That was a big barrier to entry, and then you had to be able to do something good. You had to be able to tell a story, and the
second
tools,
one hasn't gone anymore.
You still got to do that, but the tools aren't a problem anymore.
It's true.
You've got $500 sliders, you've got DSLRs, you've got so many things that let you achieve a filmic look.
Totally.
Now all you have to do is be able to go out there and tell a story.
Yeah.
And that's an awesome thing. That's just an absolutely awesome thing. So get off your couch and go shoot something. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So,
With your phone.
with your phone. Yeah, you got to be careful. There was a great business card that a photographer gave me one time, and it said, "I shoot people, and they like it." So if you're watching this or taping this, if you're the NSA or whatever, just know that when I say shoot, I mean
There was some good
go film
context
something.
there.
Get off your couch and go film something.
Totally. That's
All
true.
right. That was Doug Farris. He is the director, producer at Ghost Hand Films and the founder of Ghost Hand Productions. Chris McGilvray, again, the new Santa Cruz Film Festival. Thank you, Chris and Doug, for coming on the show.
Thank
and
you so much
with-
for having me, Nada. And I did just want to say one other thing. Tomorrow night is going to be an awesome event, and it's totally family friendly. We don't have any kind of crazy content that's going to scare anybody. So
That's good to know. That's really good to know, Chris. Because
it should be awesome.
I bet it will be.
Not should. It will.
It will be.
It will.
It will be
Indeed.
awesome.
It will be awesome. It's true.
All right, so we're going to be
Should's a bad word. I hate that
playing.
word. It's
Shoulda, woulda,
totally
coulda.
true.
We're going to be talking to Matt Steele and Eric Ressler. Hold on, folks.